My ex-wife ended her life on Monday and I still haven't told my kids. My ex and I divorced 6 years ago, and it was an ugly divorce. Our sons are now 9 and 13. We live 2 miles apart, and we have a shared custody arrangement where we alternate weeks. After the divorce, our relationship revolved around discussions about the kids, scheduling, and other practical matters. Neither of us had any interest or knowledge about each other's personal lives. However, over the past year, she has been acting strangely. She has become more talkative and friendly towards me, but I am not interested in having a social relationship with her. On Monday, I picked up the kids from school for my week with them, and around 8 p.m., she texted me. She expressed her trust in me as the only person she trusted 100% with the kids and thanked me for being a great dad. She also asked me to tell the boys that she loved them. This was unusual because she would usually call my eldest every night to say goodnight when they were with me, but she didn't on that particular night. When I drove by her place on my way to work the next day, I noticed her car was still parked on the street. I assumed she was either working from home or sick. In the morning, I had sent her a text about picking up my son's school book that he left at her house, but she hadn't replied after hours. This was very strange because she would typically respond within minutes if it concerned the kids. Growing concerned, I called her. However, since I had no knowledge of her social life, I couldn't reach out to her friends since I didn't know any of them, and her parents lived out of state. I left her a voicemail, stating that if she didn't call or text me back by 2 p.m., I would go to her house to ensure she was okay. Worried, I left work early and went to her house. I noticed packages at her door, which raised another red flag because she never left packages unattended outside. I called, texted, and knocked on the door, but there was no response. I decided to let myself in and called out for her. When I entered her bedroom, I discovered her body with a large blood stain on her shirt. In her hand was the gun she had used to shoot herself in the heart. I immediately called the police, and they questioned me for 3 hours. They informed me that they would reach out to her parents as I was no longer her next of kin. I had to pick up my kids and keep a stone face as I was still processing the situation. On Wednesday, my eldest began complaining that his mom was not replying to his text messages. He demanded that I take him to her house, which is still taped up. He believes she is either ignoring his texts or that her phone is broken and wants to ask her to fix it. I requested a private meeting with his principal and informed him that my son would be missing school next week. He asked me what could be so important that my son should miss a week of school. I then disclosed that his mom had taken her life a few days ago, but I hadn't told my son yet. Her mom has been calling me incessantly, requesting to speak to the boys. However, I explained to her that I hadn't told them yet because everything has been happening so quickly. My eldest is starting to sense that something has happened, and now my 9-year-old is also picking up on the vibes. My 13-year-old is demanding that we go to his mom's house and even threatened to skip school if I didn't comply. The 9-year-old refused to let me drop him off at school and had a meltdown. I have decided to tell them what happened on Saturday because I am not prepared to deal with the emotional turmoil that will come. I know my 13-year-old will be devastated.